So my title of the presentation of my research is a methodological framework for redesigning business processes with large language models. So we have all probably using large language models in the form of ChatGPT or others. So how does it relate to the business processes? So this is what we will discuss for the next 10 or so minutes. And of course, the relevance of this study is that we have understood that this new AI revolution, thanks to the large language models, offers new capabilities, technical capabilities like reasoning. So that's what is also my research focus, not only in this study, but in general. But shortly, what is business process? Business process is a series of activities. These activities are coordinated, and they are executed within an organizational or technical context. So these activities happen in one business organization. And collectively, these processes need to achieve something. What they achieve is a business objective. So the owners have given an objective to business. Usually it is to make money, lots of money, and hopefully ethically, but they need to usually earn money. And the model, business process model, is something that is describing how these activities take place, how this collection of activities happen. And it represents a specific case. There are a lot of models. So they are like me giving a talk here. Let's say this is a business for this university minor, and but I understand it's not a business. But let's imagine that they earn a lot of money, and me giving a talk here is also one business model. Johannes introducing me is also one business model, like sub-model, which describes how it does it perfectly. And if later the conference is over, they say to Johannes that something was not done as the process was there, so maybe we will not give you all the money we agreed, then this means that the process model is maybe faulty. Yeah, let's say, Johannes, that the model is faulty, that you did it perfectly, but the model is faulty. But sometimes people just don't follow the model through. Okay, so this is a business process life cycle. This is not by me, but something from the literature. So it comprises of phases, interconnected phases, which are cyclical in structure, and they are logically dependent from each other. And the cycle begins with the design and analysis phase. And in this phase, they usually, in businesses, they use surveys, they use questionnaires, they use interviews to map how the business is taking place, how the process is taking place. And based on these surveys, the business process mapping is being done, where the processes are identified, reviewed, validated, and represented through business model. Okay, and this is an LLM integrated business process lifecycle. So this is something I thought, and this describes now how can we use LLM, meaning large language model, to redesign the business processes. So the business process lifecycle begins with, of course, design and analysis phase, where the business will conduct surveys in their organizational environment. And based on this service, they will identify the processes that can be renewed with the AI. And then they validate this, and then they represent this knowledge in a model, like a graphical model. And the next stage is modeling, where the LLM can help to create detailed business processes, detailed business process models by interpreting and formalizing these informal descriptions, because when we ask people, how is the business taking place? What activities do you do? So this is like qualitative info. They tell you it somehow. Maybe it's like open text in a questionnaire, or maybe it's a transcription from the interview. So we need to formalize it in a structural format, which is like a model, like boxes and arrows. Then they validate it, then they simulate it, and then they communicate to the stakeholders for a review. And LLM can enhance all of these processes. So this is an example, a business process model, where we have placing an order. So we have a buyer here at the top, and we have a reseller, a company that is selling something. So it's a very simple process where the buyer is placing an order, and then the reseller checks the order and sends an invoice, and the buyer receives the invoice, pays the invoice, and then when the reseller gets the information about the payment, the shipment is made, and that ends the process. So we actually see like two processes here. One is the buyer process, and the other is the reseller process. So this is just to understand what's the process like. So now when we start to redesign our business and want to analyze how can we include AI in this, and by AI I mean in this presentation the LLM. So each process is carried out by is reviewed, and we need to determine if the LLM can automate it or not. Is it true or false, basically? So the process enactment in the LLM in the LLM analyzed business process model would be that the buyer sends an order invoice to the the reseller says buyer sends an order message to the reseller. And then we need to determine, based on our technical knowledge, can the AI automate this? We have true. But sometimes we need to think if it's reasonable to give this process to the AI. So do we want the AI to automatically pay for items? Probably not. So then we might decide that that's not the case where we would include AI. Maybe we need to have human in the loop, but the system is run by the AI anyhow. And then also when the buyer is receiving the ordered products, so this is a physical process. We cannot do this by the means of automation by software. There needs to be hands present in receiving the product. So this is basically how the redesigning of the process looks like. We take a business process, we deduce this to activities, and for each activity we decide whether the LLM can do it or not. And there are determinants for this LLM automation. There are organizational, we need to account for what type of the process is it, what is the possible degree for automation, what is the degree of the repetition, what is the degree for structuring, because not everything can be automated. The golden rule is that if it's a repetitive task, and if the task is subject to some rules, then it's a good candidate for automation with an AI. Because if it follows the rules, then we can teach the AI the rules of the game. And if it's a repetitive task, then it makes sense to automate it, because the automation takes also effort and resources. We need technical people. We need software, designing software and plan for compute power. If the process takes place, let's say, only once or twice per year, it's not very repetitive task. It doesn't make sense to automate it. So that's what we are thinking when we plan for the automation. So my simple formula, which I would like to present at the end is we just need to assign values for the aforementioned parameters, like the type of process, what is the degree of automation, degree of repetition, degree of structuring, and then we can just by multiplying and weighing the factors decide if this activity is worthwhile of automation. And it can be fuzzy logic, where we just decide from 0 to 1, 1 meaning that the degree of automation is high, 0 being that it is low, and the same for the repetition and structuring. Okay, I see my time is up. Thank you very much for the attention.
Thank you very much, Tarmo. A few questions from the audience. Apologies. How far are we today from the AI-based concept of startup or a new tech company?
Startup?
How far are we today from the AI-based concept of new tech company or a startup?
So I presume the person who asked the question thinks that if the AI can run a company,
or start a company, or generate a new company.
Mm-hmm. That's a tricky question. Who is the
Haven't got a clue. Anonymous audience member from Slido. If you want to clarify,
I don't know where to start. I could argue how the AI could be the CEO of the company, how we can run the company with the AI. But starting new companies, I think the technology is not there yet. But the technology for sure is there to run the company, even at the CEO level. But it takes an effort to configure the AI system. So that's something that most of the companies are not there yet.
Right. I see another question. Repetitive processes can be modeled. Would there be a possibility to connect them?
Connect them to what?
To connect them smoothly is the add-on to that question. Again, to make that question more clear, would a person want to clarify who asked that?
Yes, thank you. So I had this question that the processes are a bit fixed, repetitive processes.
Maybe the microphone is
thank you.
A good add-on to this.
So if I understood correctly, the processes, some of them in the company are really fixed and repetitive. And these we can model easily. But there are some places where we need flexibility. So is there any scientific ways to put these fixed models together with unfixed models and let the whole company processes run through?
That's a very good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have processes that are static, more or less, and then we have dynamic processes where we need to have creativity. Okay. So that's a good point, highlighting where the future jobs may be. So we could bring AI to the processes that are fixed, which are subject to rules, but where you need human creativity, like chairing today's conference.
That I have a future-proof job.
I think
for
so
sure.
too. Yeah. So
except for all the avatars that are already there that can do my job better. But let's stick to that. I have a future-proof job. Yeah.
So creativity, interpersonal relations, deep knowledge of the human psyche and accounting this when communicating. These are the traits that are seen which will go further in the future as human jobs. Everything else are in risk in being automated. But of course, we could make an attempt to make a virtual Johannes and give him the role of leading the conference, chairing the conference. I don't know. What do you think about that?
People have tried and failed.
Yeah, I believe they will fail.
We'll have to wait for quantum computing. Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, can we get the microphone here as well? Thank you.
My question was, did some companies already tested your formula
No,
for scale?
this is conceptual work.
All right. And would you be glad to test it in the future? Is it ready yet?
Of course, if you can name a company or recommend it, that's the logical step forward.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for the idea.
Anyone else? I guess we've run out of questions. Thank you very much, Tarmo.
Thank you.